Okay. Okay, so this is our classroom. And this is what we have been working with, right? Henry II and the Church, John and Magna Carta, after the midterm, I mean. As regards the midterm, okay, I finished correcting the other group, but Irene has finished, but I haven't, okay? But I think that today I'm going to finish correcting those two questions and uploading all the results, okay? So I'm sorry, but well, we have lots of things to do, too many classes, so that's why it has taken longer. Are you hearing? Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, miss.
Good. So, so far what we have been looking at, they are okay, right? As regards the midterm, I mean. Okay. Then we worked with Henry II and the Church, John and Magna Carta. These are the latest topics, right? Then we started Unit 5 with Henry III and the beginnings of Parliament. And here we have to continue working with Simon de Montfort and the emergence of Parliament. And then we are going to see something about King Edward and slightly, this is for next week, okay, Unit 6, about the Black Death and the 100 Years' War and the War of the Roses, just for you to have a notion before going to the final exam. Let me add the people in. Here there are some messages. Could you turn off? Okay. They are not for me. Good. So what I posted last night was this about important dates, right? I posted it news. So well, this is I posted first of all my class, but then I said, okay, no, they are not going to see it, so I posted Irene's class next Friday, right? So you know that here, if you click here, you see the information, right? So there you have the key basically to enter into that mid class. Then I posted this collaborative work for the 12th of June, just 1 week before the final exam on the 19th. So what is this? Okay, first of all, talking about the final exam, you know, it's going to follow more or less the same method that, I mean, that of the midterm, basically, right? Some 5 questions, maybe that they're, maybe it's longer, right? Maybe it's a bit longer, but it's going to have some questions, so half the exam in a more structured way, like multiple choice or fill in the blanks or something like that, a little bit more structure, right? And the other part is going to be, well, development question. But you know that we left just a small gap, a small room for you to, so that you don't expand that much, right? So the idea is always that you go to the point. It's not the same as writing an essay or something like this is what you are started in language, and how to write paragraphs and then writing essays. I know that that's the point, but not here, right? Not here, at least in history in first year. The idea is that you can answer the question. We are evaluating content, and of course, we deduce, we make some discounts as regards points when you miss words that you don't use well, or maybe some problems with tenses or things like that, right? Because we are always, in all the subjects, evaluating language at the same time, okay? But just, I don't know, some points, okay? Some points off. That's not the most important. So the exam well, we are, I have to check this, but it always has to do on how many questions we give you that you have to develop. So it's apparently, maybe I think it's going to be 60 minutes, but it might be a little bit more or a little bit less because we haven't done the exam yet, right? But the idea is that they are going to be similar. Okay, and what is this collaborative work? Again, it didn't let me do it obligatory. She's the good one. But it's good. I mean, the idea is that you will have, it will have some points, but as all the rest of the activities that maybe we haven't corrected each of them, we have given some feedbacks to some students, but we haven't been able maybe to give you a point yet. But they will be, I mean all the optional activities that we started posting at the beginning. So I'm going to count at the end when I'm doing all the, trying to take all the final grades, okay, which is the final result, the final mark that you get. Remember that you have to pass the exams, and it's and all those optional activities, all the ones that have not been corrected, like adding one word in the glossary, answering, I don't know, a question, or getting yourself involved in one form, all those questions are going to, all those assignments or tasks are going to be considered maybe just 1 point extra points, okay? So imagine that you, out of the 100%, it's like you are having 5 points extra points, right? 105 would be the total if you have participated in all the instances, okay? So maybe one instance is going to give you 1 extra point or 2 extra points, something like that, but extra. So they are going to be helpful for you to get to the mark that you need to be regular or to promote, and that's according to the syllabus, okay? ¿Ustedes han leído el programa, lo que dice en cuanto a las notas y todo eso? Have you read that?
Yes.
Okay. So these points or these activities that you did, porque me pueden muchos decir, bueno, pero ¿para qué hice aquellas actividades que nadie me corrigió? Que bueno, al final las vamos a contabilizar, quién participó, quién no. En ese sentido no es quién aprobó, quién desaprobó, sino quién participó, como para darles unos 5 puntitos extra, ¿no? Que por ahí están necesitando para regularizar o para promocionar, ¿ok? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The meeting, the meeting in the first meeting with Silvina is going to be a normal meeting, or we are going to have an exam or something like that?
You mean this one, mid-class on June the 5th?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be with Irene. No. The only
Okay.
exam, okay, every time that it's going to, that it's an obligatory task or evaluation, you're going to be, it's going to appear obligatory, or at least it says exam, right? So, no, como dije recién, pensé que lo íbamos a hacer un quiz y al final, como están teniendo muchos exámenes, Irene pensó no agregarles este quiz, okay? But maybe
Okay.
the idea is that you start working on your own, and well, as you have been doing, okay, in this semester, and trying to get conclusions and get your summaries and questions ready for that day, because maybe it's the last meeting before the final exam.
Okay, thank you.
So the idea is you have all your questions ready. So again, this collaborative work, well, on the 12th of June. It says the deadline is on the 12th of June, right? But the idea is this. It says, answer one of the questions in this link and insert the answer orally in this Padlet. So let's have a look at the link that somebody posted yesterday that you couldn't open it, I think, and then I fixed it. So here you have the questions.
My question is how can we do a collaborative work in this sheet of paper?
Okay, why collaborative? Collaborative in the sense that you pick one question, you study it, you prepare it, right? So it says here, pick one of the questions, prepare the answer, and post it orally, recording yourself in the Padlet. Now I'm going to show you how. Try not to repeat the question so that it is a real collaborative work. So if you repeat the question and everybody prepares number one, okay, you are not going to get the answer of the other questions. And these are typical questions that we might ask in a final exam, in an oral final exam, or in the final exam, written final exam. So they are questions that they are going to help you, right? They are going to help you to really get the answer that we expect from you in the final exams, oral or written. The one that is coming is written, okay, the one on the 19th. But if you get regular or libre and you need to go to the final exam, these are more or less the questions. So the idea is that you pick one question and you write your name here next to it. For example, okay, I'm going to prepare question number one. What two groups of people were the first inhabitants of the British Isles? It's very simple, okay? It's very simple thing. So you write here number one and González, okay? González, Paula. So you have to write.
That's the problem. I can't write in that document so that all the rest of my classmates can see it. It's only like a word.
But you have to download, abrir con, okay, maybe if I post it, tendría que abrirlo yo desde el Drive, ¿no es cierto?
Yes, because yesterday I couldn't editar the file
like
because
this.
I wasn't allowed to do it.
Okay, good. So I'm going to link this, basically. Okay, so that you can, you're right. Thank you very much. Estoy aprendiendo un montón, chicos, pero me falta muchísimo, como se habrán dado cuenta. So I do apologize for all the mistakes and all the problems that you have had, but I'm supposed to be the one that knows in this in history, and I don't. I mean, I'm learning a lot.
For me, you are doing great. I understand all the classes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I have one question.
Yeah.
What happened if another classmate record the same answer? It doesn't matter if...
No problem, as long as all the questions have been covered, right? So you are too many. I think that you are like over 80 students, and here there are only 23 questions. If you have one question that you have seen somewhere else that you would like to answer, okay, I invite you to add the question, and then you write the name of the question and your last name, and you record that, okay? So, I don't know, that maybe was asked during the midterm test and you were not very sure, or during one quiz, and answer the question. So the idea of this work is that you go into this panel, which is also posted below here. Okay, good. I'm going to explain something that it's already been done. Good. So happy to see it working. So the idea is that you are, if you don't know, right, you click here and you write the title of the question answer to question, exactly like people have been doing. Then you click here and you write your voice. So why is it collaborative? Because you're going to hear everybody's answers, right? So you're not sure about one question, you go here and you have everything displayed on the same pad. Padlet, actually, as they are called. So I found them like very useful so that everybody can have access and hear, and it would be a good way of checking or making a revision of the whole subject, okay? And I opened it in a way so that we can make comments. So we have to hear and maybe make a comment and maybe make the correction below, right? You can also make your own comments as well. I know, it's only for me, the comment, I think. I don't know, maybe, no. You can also make some comments as well. So I think it's going to be useful so that we check everything before the final exam.
Miss, I have a question.
Sure. You see here, sorry, below, you will have it. Sorry, let me finish this and then you answer the question. After you have posted this, I also inserted this here so that you write your link, the link of the same answer, the same audio, what you have uploaded. You can share the link here. Why? So that we can have it as an evaluation, even though it's not obligatory, it's an optional exercise, but then it appears for us in calificaciones, ¿me entienden? Como evaluaciones. Entonces, es más fácil darles ahí el punto que corresponde por esa actividad. Entonces, piensen, las opcionales, de nuevo les explico, en castellano, estas opcionales, entonces, no es que la necesitan, al final, si son opcionales, no les puedo dar que el punto dentro del 100%, ¿me entiendes? Se las doy como puntos, como bonus track, ¿ok? Como extra points. ¿Me entienden? Okay. Sorry, go ahead with your question.
Yes. I recorded the audio with my cell phone. So, and I posted it on the Padlet. That is because it is, for that, it appears like a video in the Padlet. So it doesn't have like any link that I can post, that I can share.
Because you didn't upload it. I mean, you sent the file.
Yes.
You uploaded the file.
Yes, me too.
I didn't record it on Padlet. I recorded it with my cell phone, and then I uploaded to Padlet.
Okay, I would ask you to, if you can. But I think that then you can make the link from the Padlet.
Yes.
So you can in the Padlet. Yeah, I think that you can here. You can find here and share the link. Copy post. I think that you can copy the post. No, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you can. Well, let me find out. But if not, yeah, what it says here, no. What you could do is like to upload your audio in your drive, right? ¿Por qué es esto? ¿Por qué les pido esto? Porque a veces, o sea, no les podemos pedir que lo suban. Si bien acá en este tipo de tareas, cuando se las pedimos así, when you see the hand, you know that you have to hand in something and you can actually upload the document, right? Maybe some teachers have asked you before to upload your document, your audio, your video, whatever. The thing is that the Moodle gets like too heavy and it cannot get all the files. So what we ask you to do then is to upload your file in your drive and then share the link. This is what we do with all for example, this document, right? You upload it in your drive and then when it's in your drive, let me see if you can see it here, but I think that maybe most of you know how to do it. Right here you have in my drive, and I want to share one document. For example, this one.
Sorry, we aren't seeing anything on the screen.
Ah, okay. So here, for example, I'm in my drive. Are you looking at now? Are you seeing my?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So for example, here, this is a book, okay, that I'm reading. Okay, so here you open the, you see, you get the get shareable link. And this is the link that maybe you can add in that and insert in that. So even though it's in your drive, you get a shareable link, and then I'm supposed to be able to see it. Wherever you posted or you uploaded, maybe just one folder that you have in your drive, I will be able to see it because you posted this, right? So you get a shareable link. You see, you make a click here. It says loading. So maybe you have to change this. So anyone with the link can view it. This is what has happened to me before, that you haven't been able to see something because I didn't do that, right? Then I copy the link, and this is the link I need in order to see it, okay? But this is just for, the one that you are going to hand in here in this entry, right? Where it says revision of the final exam. So you click here, and es que yo estoy como profesora acá. Okay, but there you have one space to upload your entry. If you do it today, if somebody can do it so that I check that it works, because you are supposed, I set this tasks so that you were able to upload your link. Okay. So
I'm sorry, what do we have to upload in Drive? The audio?
So it's the same task. You upload it here in this Padlet, and then the same audio, or the link, not the audio, but the link of the audio, you upload it again here, okay? So you do it like, so that I can hear what happens. If you do it here, I see it as, it's easier for me to, at a point, to see that everybody worked, okay? Como que me aparecen todos en lista después, ¿me entienden?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, this is for you,
Thank you.
so that you all have access. Okay, I don't know if you have any other questions as regards this. Or
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
Shall we go to content? I don't know if there is something that you would like to work on the things that we have just uploaded. Henry III and the beginning of Parliament.
Yes, but it's about John.
Okay, let's go back.
I didn't understand very well which was the problem with his parents.
Okay. The problem that John had with his parents is that he turned them all against him, right? Why? Because he started like diminishing all the powers that they had, privileges that the nobles had. So and he remembered that for all the wars that he got into, or he wanted to get into in order to recover the lands that he had in France, he forced the nobles to support him with army and with you see, with money, basically, and with the army to be able to go into war. You know that the king usually, every time he wanted to go to war, had to find support among his people, the nobles. Historically, they always counted on the nobles. And so he went into so many wars that he lost the support of his people, right? And so
Okay.
they started to try to make him, I mean, a long way they started to go along this path so that the king would sign this Magna Carta. First of all, remember that there was another document that he had to sign in order to restrain the power of the king and try to avoid him going into war every time he wanted to go into war, so that things could be like or the powers of the king could be more restricted. What was Magna Carta? Remember Magna Carta?
Yes.
Okay, what was this Magna Carta?
It was a document that it established that all men were free men were the same. Well, they have to have like a right trial.
Okay, very good. That was
Trial.
a right trial, a fair trial. Every man had the right to have a fair trial before being condemned, in prison, sentenced, right? Good. That was one of the most important issues, right, dealt with in Magna Carta. Very good. What else can you say? What else? Oh, what other what did the other article? What was the other main article also? Proposing. Does anybody remember?
That the king shouldn't put like taxes taxes there that were like too, I don't know how to say.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. The one on taxation. Very good. That was the other important, that you couldn't. They couldn't. The king would not be able to levy taxation without. See, what was exactly the word?
Without the consent of the parliament.
Without the consent of the parliament. Very good. So here we start working, you see, with the word parliament. Sorry, let's go back. This is not the one that we were working with. But those are very important ones. So imagine that Magna Carta was a kind of very important documents which set the basis for what important documents that you have maybe seen in the video that were used worldwide. Remember the Declaration of Independence in the United States was based on this Magna Carta. So imagine the importance it has, right? It was, where is John? Here.
Para la Declaración de los Derechos en la Revolución Francesa también.
también porque de alguna manera establece los derechos básicos del ciudadano, ¿sí? Y restringe estos poderes en este caso del monarca, como para que sea uno el que toma las decisiones más importantes de un país, right? So it sets the basis for for many important documents that were used worldwide. La Declaración de los Derechos Humanos and all those. So was very important. And at the time, also, it was like the beginning of. It was also like the antecedent for the parliament that I started having afterwards. Okay, and this is what we are going to start working with after King John. Who comes after King John?
Sorry, what?
Who comes after King John? Who succeeds?
No, I don't remember.
Henry III.
III.
Henry III. Very good. So you see these questions. Why is it considered one of the most famous documents in the world? As I said before. A common question would be, when was this Magna Carta signed by the king? Remember when and where? King John of England signed the Magna Carta at Runnymede on the 15th of June, 1215. That's a typical question that is worth remembering, because it was an important document. So in that document, he had to give in a way, and he admitted that he couldn't be levy different taxes whenever he wanted and going to work whenever he wanted, but he had to go through, he had to respect the rights settled down there in this Magna Carta, okay, or in this charter, which is also called the Great Charter. So why was the charter originally created? That was one of the question that we have just answered, I think. What does it establish? Okay, and you mentioned, and then maybe you can Google into which were the main articles, right? That it establishes. Which one of them, which is one of the most important points set by the charter? Did the charter bring peace in the end? Which documents were influenced by Magna Carta? Okay, I think that more or less these are the ones that we have been answering. And remember that it was everything because of this problem with the barons, okay? That it was always, and we have seen this all throughout in British history, this like competition or struggle for power between the king and the barons. So the king always trying to do something to subdue the barons, or trying to avoid the barons to grow so powerful that they would control the king. But at the same time, these barons had to do something so that the king didn't do according to his whims, right? Whatever he wanted to do. So it was a constant struggle. And these, actually, King John's reign and Henry III reign are actually settling the basis of the kind of monarchy, the kind of government they have today in England. So King John, with the issuing or the signing of this Magna Carta, this Great Charter of Liberties, as this is called, and Henry III, basically with the signing of, or actually giving way to the creation of Parliament, even though it was not because of him. Actually, it was because of somebody else had to do. Do you remember who was involved also in this creation of Parliament?
Henry III.
Okay, actually, because he was also, he had his weaknesses, okay, as it's mentioned here in the PowerPoint. is that they had to come up. I mean, he was like forced into the creation of this parliament. Here we have the word, the name of a person, Simon de Montfort. Simon de Montfort was able to, was a nobleman who had, I mean, there was a very important, remember this, the nobles' rebellion. There was a rebellion by the nobility, and he was the leader of this, and he succeeded in creating, or of creating this first parliament, which was very similar, not exactly the same, because it underwent many changes as history went on, but it was quite similar to the one that England has today, or that any Congress has today, in the sense that it was more representative. What does it mean that it's representative?
That people of different places were like representing other, I don't know, maybe counties or kingdoms.
Very good.
Invited citizens.
Okay, very good. It was actually of the different kinds of people, we can say, the different, for example, there were two people from the army, there were people from the artisans. Okay, there were different people being representing the group of people in the parliament. So it was no longer, it says, have a look at the antecedents of parliament, we can say, and the evolution. Maybe you remember this, right? The Saxon kings came up with the Witan. Then the Norman kings call it the king's court or council, which was called Curia Regis. But it was always like part of the, I mean, who belonged to this Witan and the king's court or Curia Regis? Members of the nobility, right? Members of the nobility.
And
Then,
churchmen.
Sorry?
And churchmen too.
Okay, very good. Yeah, because they were, remember these ecclesiastical posts that were, very good, at the same level maybe. And then Henry III came up with the Council of 24, and then with the provisions of Oxford, established a Council of 15. Here, Simon de Montfort had to do a lot with this. You're going to read this, the pages that we posted, and you're going to be able to see this evolution. And then with Edward I, he is Henry III's son, he gave form to what we call parliament, which was very similar to the parliament we have today. So the similarities as they were governing assemblies. I mean, the people gather in order to govern, okay, to issue different laws and things like that. This is what they do. But which is the difference? That they were no longer a class body. It was not only members of the nobility, but it was a national body. It was not only represented that class, but it was a national body. I mean, all the people in the country were represented.
Okay.
So that's a huge change, right? So the idea is that you can make an account of the different antecedents, which I've just explained, but maybe understand them better, which are the similarities and differences between these previous councils and parliaments, and this is what I've just mentioned. And okay, this is where I wanted to get the two clauses. I left them out at the end. I just omitted them. Here there were two clauses for 12th and 14th left out. The clauses we are talking about the Magna Carta. Why were they left out? have a look at that. Try to see that on your own, and then we discuss it. Maybe.
Okay.
And then you're going to
The
see
control of taxation, is that?
exactly. Okay, so imagine they didn't want to. Okay, but try to go over this on your own, to conclusions, and then we share, or maybe you discuss that with Irene next Friday, right? Or maybe, yeah, I would say. But here, I don't know if you had chance to watch the video.
Yes.
So it does mention like, and also the reading, like there were 3 periods of Henry's, showing Henry's government, like 3 different periods. So how, well, how different were they? They are not basically exam questions, but it's maybe easier to see all the process, right? How come he gets to be to sign, or to in the end, how come it's like parliament, or the members of the nobility won with this parliament, right?
Okay.
So maybe you can see the 3
John
periods.
also had problems with the church.
John?
Yes.
Maybe you mean the problem with Becket before?
Oh, no. I was asking because all of them, since Henry had problems with the church, maybe he too.
One of them.
Well, John, well, all of them actually, you know that the church was a very important institution at the time. So, yeah, because I think that when he lost his lands in France, that was due also because they were supported at the nobility, they were supported by the church, if I'm not mistaken. So they always have a conflict according to who the church is with, right? And in general, they were with the Crusades, actually. His brother, Richard III, went into the Crusades, and he was up, and they are according to who or what king the king supported. No, who did the church support? That was the most powerful, or had a great advantage, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't remember exactly who was, if there was one problem with John, but and the church. But I do remember that there was something signing, and due to those lands that he lost in France, and the Pope signing against him. Okay, what else?
I have a question about the Padlet.
Okay, go ahead.
We have to write the answers, because I'm always on the class of Historia de Países Anglófonos, and there we have to record ourselves.
I said here record as well. That's why most of you have recorded.
Okay. Okay.
Record. Yeah, it was an idea. The idea of, I mean, just to practice some oral, right?
Great.
So that was the idea. Yeah.
I wrote you a message about the exams. I don't know if you have the chance to check them too.
Yeah, I opened today. I started talking about that. It's me, the one that is involved here. I need to correct 2 of the questions yet. So I'm still
okay.
Working on them. I hope today, after a meeting I have at 4, I can start working on that, and so that you can have the results today or tomorrow, right?
No, great, thanks.
They will be both.
Another question about the day of investiture, the lay investiture.
The investiture.
What was it about exactly? Because I understand like it was when kings named or appointed some religious officers to some officers that were vacant.
They were, it's actually the appointment of religious officials by the members of a says by secular subjects. I mean, who that is basically called the lay investiture, okay? Appointing of religious officials by secular subjects. For example, in the case of Becket, I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
He was appointed by, he was chancellor, right? Chancellor of Henry II. And then because he was the man he had, he trusted a lot. But then he was appointed a Archbishop of Canterbury, right? When this was the previous bishop died, and he was appointed into that position, which was a very important position in the church and next to the king, because it was like the base of the main representative of the church in England.
Yes.
So he was appointed like by by the king, and he was supported by the king because he thought, Henry II thought that he would be able, to have, it's like to have the church supporting every and backing up every decision that he, as the king, would take. But what happened? Do you remember what happened? Did in the end Becket support his decisions?
Yes, Becket resigned to the councillor. And I don't know if it says like that. And well, he starts to be more like in the part of the church and not like supporting the king.
Okay, right, because now he belonged to the church, and so and apparently what writer says is that he converted himself, and so I won't be able, and he said, I won't be able to serve two masters. I'm serving the church, I'm serving God, and he changed, and so now he no longer paid attention to his to Henry II's orders. Actually, when it was like to go against the church. Okay, no, he was working with the church for the church. Well, the thing is that he had a position of chancellor, and he became a bishop, being appointed by the king, Henry II.
Okay. The conflict was that Henry wanted the clerics that had committed murder to be judged also in the king's court.
Okay, sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yes. The problem between Henry and Becket was that Henry wanted like the clerics that had committed crimes to be judged also in the court.
Okay, sorry, yeah. That was very important. When you claimed lay investiture, is that you said, okay, as I'm a member of the church, I cannot be tried in this court. I have to be tried. I have the right to be tried in ecclesiastical courts. And this is one of the things that Henry II was trying to abolish. Okay, he didn't want all the members of the church to be tried in different, to escape his realm, right, and his power, to be away from his scope, we can say.
Okay.
And so when people claim lay investiture, they claim, okay, if I'm a member of the church, I I mustn't be tried in this court, in this public or the king's court. I have to be tried in the ecclesiastical court. The thing is that to be a member of the church, it was not just being a bishop or being a priest. It was even the people who participated and helped in the mass service, right? During mass. So even they could be called church members. And so they escaped also the church, the government courts.
Okay. So Becket was supporting lay investiture, and Henry wanted to avoid.
Of course. It's like Becket became an enemy for Henry because he actually started working for the church. And so Henry II said, how come I made him chancellor, I made him bishop, and now he's not working for me? So he sent it to, he made him, he was killed. Apparently, as history goes, it says that he said, what am I going to do with this person, with this? I would have him killed. It was not that he sent his men to kill him, but this is what books say. He was killed by 2 of his men.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
Well, I have a question. Good morning, first of all.
Morning. Hello.
Well, I have a question, but it's more like in the 15th century placed.
Let's see.
Well, my question is about Edward. What happened with King Edward when the Battle of the Roses took place?
Actually, yes.
Sorry, because I had understand that Edward has mental a mental illness or something like that.
Well, it's after King Edward that when they started that the Battle of the Roses took over to see who was going to succeed him, right?
Yes.
That's why this is. Have you started? Because this is not to be seen. Actually, I haven't put this King Edward I, and even the video put it like visible yet. It's like you were not supposed to read that yet, but if you have, no problem. Have you been able to read some about King Edward?
Yes.
Where?
Well, yes, in the book. I love English history, so I read the book. I watched documentaries on Netflix. I'm crazy about English history.
Okay, then you're going to see, but it actually is because of that conflicted time, who was going to succeed Edward, that the War of the Roses took place.
Yes, yes.
And who comes afterwards?
Comes afterwards.
After the War of the Roses, what happens? And this is what you're going to see next year.
Wow.
Maybe you don't know, but that's maybe you have seen them in pictures as well, in movies. They were succeeded by the Tudors.
Yes, yes.
It was Henry VII, the one who won, we could say, who came up as a king after the War of the Roses, and then there is a new dynasty of kings, and they were the Tudors, Henry VII, Henry VIII, and he's the one who makes the Reformation of England and all that.
Yes, I was pretty advanced then. Well, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
So Edward the First is Edward Longshanks, known as Edward Longshanks. He was like depicted in one of the movies. Well, I don't know. I think he's the one. Have you seen Braveheart, Corazón Valiente?
No,
he
no,
was
I
the
don't like Ben Affleck. No, the other actor. Well, I can't remember the name, but you know what I mean.
Okay, okay. He's still a Plantagenet. Okay, yeah. We have to, let me open, I'm going to make this visible, the information about King Edward, and to watch the video. But what you have to remember is more or less those questions, okay? The ones that, every time that we we upload a PowerPoint, consider the questions in order to try to be more precise in what you are, when you are reading, go to that information so that you more or less understand. And if there is something that you don't understand about that, don't forget to write them down. And maybe in these talks, you ask them very precise questions, right?
Teacher, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are there movies or something that you recommend us to watch?
Well, I always upload the videos that I consider the ones that I upload here is because they are short, actually, and they are to the point, and they are meant for you to study, to learn. They are not just meant to, they are not for pleasure, right? But we all history lovers, people who love these historical films. There are many. I don't know, the TV series, like even if you have seen the Vikings and the one on British history, there are lots of things that have to do with true events. Many and most of them are based on true stories. So the major events that they show, or the struggles, the problems they have, they are true, okay? But they invent, there are many things that are fiction that make it more entertaining. And I think that anyway, that there are things that are not true, they are worth watching because we get a whole picture of what England was like. So there is one, all the ones, Vikings and all of them. Then there is a very good documentary about Henry VIII. This is for later. I don't know, let me, now all of a sudden it's like nothing comes to my mind, but I might make a list and maybe share them. Maybe post it here so that you can watch them.
In terms of what,
I would love that. Thank you.
Okay.
In terms of what Martin says, about the movie that you posted last class of Henry II, I must say that watching that movie, it helps you a lot to understand the whole character. Because when you read historical books, you tend, or the writers tend to put just the correct or the historical facts, not the character itself, like the way they act, etc. So I think in this movie was very clear for us the way Henry II was in terms of towards Beckett. So I love it. So if you have more lists, or if you have a list of movies, I will appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, I think that it helps us understand what the writers or what people, historians tell us about him, right? Remember that it could be, we are always like studying history by secondary sources. That means by writers who investigated history, right? And maybe they used primary sources, but we use them, right? These historians. So maybe we are getting their appreciation there of the different, the kings and the moods and everything, you see. So it's like we cannot like I don't know, they help us like recreate the history. We don't know that, but you have to know that even in books, history books and in movies, they are reinterpreting history. That's what I mean, right? So sometimes you get disappointed because you make a picture of a king who is, I don't know, different, and then you get a movie and you get disappointed because it's not exactly what you expected. But anyway, as long as they help, it's worth watching and enjoying.
Yes, definitely. So as a classmate also said, I love history as well in general. But even though we have our, I don't know, perception of some kings or whatever, I think it's good for us to understand the whole person itself. So it also helps you to understand the history in general as well, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I know. So, well, okay, I'll make a list of the different movies that might be helpful in at least the history that we are seeing here, right? Okay. Good. Any other question? So, do you like this kind of activities like the one in the Padlet?
Yes, they are interesting.
Yes,
How?
really nice activities.
Sorry, Martin?
Really nice activities. It helps you like reflection a lot, and to help us and all the classmates.
Okay, yeah. I thought it would be a good idea, mainly now before the final exam. It's like on the second we made them do a video, but here, okay, maybe just uploading your audio would be enough. Maybe next year would be different. Okay, guys.
Miss,
If you have,
sorry, if I
yeah,
had a question that doesn't appear in the Word, I add it and then I send the audio.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, very good. And then we are going to make comments. Okay, we're going to listen and make comments to check if that's okay or if there is something to correct. Okay. But the idea is that you, of course, don't say whatever comes to your mind, right? Prepare it a little bit so that you know the answer, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Okay, guys, if there are no more questions, I'll upload or I'll open, I think, the ones on Edward. I'll ask Irene if she agrees, and I'll open those tasks about Edward, King Edward. And then also remember next Friday, again, another class, so that have all the questions ready, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. See you.